Settings. And participants.
I gotta go into the cloud again just to make things easier.
Caption. I have to find the settings on this thing. Hate the settings. There you go. Me. General. Audio. Apps. Recording. Yes, keyboard shortcuts accessible. Yeah, but I don't want. I want to change the name on it to. But it doesn't say that. I'll keep it for now.
How's it going?
It's going. Usual bullshit.
Yep. Same day, different shit.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. I might need to just tweak my volume, but otherwise, yeah, everything's good.
I pretty much added a mic because the camera I use has a mic imports in the back, and I added this mic, which I have next to me, which will help things better that way.
Yeah,
unlike last time we had that issue of I needed to be a little bit closer. This way I could be a little bit further back and still it picks up. Or if I need to actually hold the mic, it could help this time around.
Whatever works.
Figured it helps. Notes.
So I figure we can talk about Paul Rubens, ghosts, and aliens.
Paul Rubens Ghost. By Paul Rubens Ghost.
Well, you got to figure Paul Rubens was actually set to be Gozer in Ghostbusters. A lot of people didn't realize that. And he rejected last minute, so they had to cast who they cast.
Well, and that's why am I drinking out of this? I should be drinking out of the other thing. Basically, I hope I know everything with the strike is going sideways and all, and we all know what's pretty much going on. I don't know if you heard Stephen Amell, however you pronounce his last name, aka the Green Arrow.
Sweet Tooth. Oh wait, no, that's different. That's another Steve.
He came out at a convention. I don't know if you heard this. He came out at a convention. He supports the strike, but he doesn't. They're wording it that they're saying he doesn't support the strike, or he doesn't support the union. He said, I support the union. I just don't support the strike. He doesn't see the point in it. There's a lot of controversy going on about what's going on with the strike. And I know it seems right now I'm a Dutch angle, but still, whatever. There's a lot of things going on about it. And it's just that I think we covered this when we talked about SAG 2 weeks ago. There are some people that are allowed to, due to independent work, allowed to do independent films, meaning a lot of folks are saying, oh, Danny Trejo is given permission to do indie films because these are not, meaning someone like David Kerr could hire Danny Trejo if he had the money to do so.
Yeah.
And Danny Trejo, because Dave is not union. He's not doesn't work with SAG. You know, he doesn't work with like Warner Brothers or anything like that. So as long as SAG gives permission to Danny Trejo to work on this project, therefore everything's okay. And it's the aspect of, oh, SAG is giving. I'm not dissing Danny Trejo in any way, shape, or form. He seems like a nice guy, but I'm just saying what a lot of people are saying. Oh, they're giving these high named actors and actresses permission, but what about the unknowns? And that's the question. I haven't heard anything like that, and there's some weird drama about it. And since this is the pre-show and all that, and it's the pre-show, we're just tossing random shit to the wind before we start. Some of you out there might know I didn't go to Otakon again this year, mostly due to fundage, but shit's going down like usual. I love it when shit doesn't go as planned for most people. Those of you on Sasha's side, I know she's getting busy, so sorted out and all that. So hashtag rant. For those on Sasha's side of things, I know some of you on my side of things, the LCMP side of things, know for the bulk of my show, out of the 8 years that we've been going on and keeping on trucking, out of that, maybe about 4 or 5 of them, we went to Otakon. Last year we didn't go due to getting let go from my employer, and I didn't agree with their tactics. Meaning, when I last went back in 2021, all you had to do was wear a mask, just whatever, a cloth covering over your face for everything. Then 2022 happened, and a lot of restrictions with regards to the pandemic got lifted. That's when somehow, some way, everything went draconian with the convention center, because DC, their COVID restrictions also got lifted, but they left a lot of event venues to have their own policies. And that's when the convention center decided, hey, guess what? We not only want you to wear a mask, but prove that you have been, you are virus free or you've been injected.
A lot of places did that last year.
Yeah. And even though everything was being lifted. So what happened? I didn't agree with that. And with that whole aspect, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going. Screw it. I'm saving my money. I just got let go. Not going to go. Not to mention last year, Otakon, I want to say, fucked themselves over. I know it's been this long into the show. We're already dropping F-bombs, but I'm sure Sasha could agree that if you're putting on an event, you plan to have max occupancy, period. End of story. You have to plan on that. Apparently, Otakon never planned on that. And they got, from what I was hearing, they got near, I think the max occupancy was like 45,000 people for the convention center in DC. The quote unquote official word was 40,000 attendees. Yet the number 44 was being thrown around by staff. So I have no idea what was going on. But technically, if the official number was 40,000, guess what? It wasn't 40,000. It was 39,999 because this motherfucker didn't go. Because a lot of events go by ticket sales.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Otakon. It's not ticket sales. It's memberships, quote unquote. And folks on my side of things, LCMP side of things, know how I feel about Otakon and saying, "Oh, you're not buying tickets; you're buying memberships." Oh, For what? Oh, memberships on our website for the forums on, you mean the fact that due to Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that's now made your membership redundant is beyond everything. But this year they fixed problems from last year, and they're a quote unquote again official numbers is 42,000. And like past years, they've had a lot of issues. Apparently, they were kicking folks out due to wearing bunny outfits. Best guess until they were dressed up like you know how
Like sexy bunnies. I get it.
No, from what I gather, it was like, you know, the Playboy bunny outfit,
Yes.
the classic, pretty much like that, but they're wearing leotards instead of just like the swimsuit outfit underneath.
Okay.
So everything is covered up. They were, from my gather, they were wearing that, and they were saying, "Sorry, dress code violation, you're gone." Yet, folks, again, were going. This is VIA, the Otacon Facebook group, aka the Stitches Should Get Stitches, Snitches Should Get Stitches fan group. I'll get into that in a moment. Where they were saying, yeah, I was at the show and pretty much everything was flapping in the breeze, if you want to use your imagination. And I didn't get, you know, kind of tossed out due to wardrobe malfunctions. So take that as you will. And the reason why I make the statement that the Otacon fan group, official yet unofficial fan group on Facebook, is aka Snitches Get Stitches, or Should Get Stitches, is because back in 2021, when I was there 3 days, I was doing my thing. I got, I think, a total of 10 pieces of content, 5 audio and 5 video. And one of the things, and Sasha, you've seen my baggies of dice that I give people, a handout.
Yeah.
I made a post. I took a selfie with the baggie, kind of dangling it, saying, "Hey, I'm in the game room. I'm here doing, you know, I'm covering the event. I have dice to give out. If you want it, it's yours." And in each bag of dice, I had, folks at home that can see it, my business card. You know, in about half hour, this was at 9 o'clock, and about 9:30, one of the folks representing the staff and the event coordinators came up to me and said, like, "You can't do that." Do what? We sold you a post. You can't do what you did. Do what? Hand out dice. That's solicitation. Why? It's against event Otacon policies and event center policies. How is it? I'm not soliciting anything. I'm handing out free shit. Well, you're forcing people to listen. No, to kind of, I should have challenged the whole thing. I know you would probably go like, "Oh, let's take me to the upper management."
Yeah.
But I'd be like, there's a TikToker, Instagrammer that does kind of like that sort of things, like, "Oh, you have to do what you're doing," in essence, pointing out you're doing the long way around to do something. I'll be like, I should have went, "Look, I could open up the bag, take out the card, and just toss it away. They don't have to listen."
Exactly.
They could tell me, "Could you remove the card out of the bag?" That simple. If you think the other people that bought the tickets are that stupid that they now have to listen, then that's an issue. By your logic, if I pick up a poster for AwesomeCon or KatsuCon from their table, I have to go because I picked up their poster promoting their event. By the way, though they're promoting their event at a paid booth, isn't that solicitation? Technically, it is. but the convention center, from what I found out from several folks that have either volunteered or worked at the convention center, they're very draconian. They've worked with the DC City Council to have like a 2-mile radius around DC that you cannot do that, and which I believe is totally fucked up. Awesome. I know AwesomeCon next year is in March, but this year it was in like June. Next year's Otakon is in early August, and whereas I think in previous years it's in July, August anyway. Golly gee, what happens in July and August? The summer, and the heat's very high, and you have a bunch of people standing outside in 115-degree heat. That's why I like Baltimore. You have a lot of folks doing the hustle. Meaning you have the people selling water, selling, selling pretzels, selling food. They know you're waiting in line. They're going to get you. And you whisper, I'm thirsty. You're going to have at least 5 motherfuckers out there, saying, hey, water, $5. And you have another like, what are you buying water for him for $5? For $3, I'll give you a bottle of water and a Coke. And you haggle. That's great. That's the American way. Haggling. I like it, and they'll be like, hey, you hungry? I know Joey. Joey sells pretzels. Joey, come here. You don't want pretzels. You want some peanuts? Dwayne. My buddy Dwayne sells roasted peanuts. But you can't have that because the convention center staff are a bunch of, draconian folks. I know in previous years when I went to Baltimore Comic-Con and the convention center there, when it was 115 degrees heat out, they were like, even the event staff was like, let's see if we get you guys inside, or at least the bulk of you inside, out of this damn heat, so you're not passing the fuck out. But they don't like that there. Last year they had issues with folks with, we'll get to this probably later in the show, with service animals and people with needs. Because a lot of folks that have physical needs were allowed to be let in early due to them being wheelchair bound or with service animals or so forth and so on.
They were told that. I want to keep things short.
So, but either way, they were told, no, you got to stand in line. How dare you get to the end of the line? And when they report to Otakon staff, they're like, oh, they shouldn't have let you do that and stuff like that. I don't want to go back there. I'd rather, again, I like going to Baltimore because they were fun. Yeah, they've had their issues before. Baltimore's always a fun place to go to, as long as you stay in the Inner Harbor. I've always had fun at Baltimore. 4th State, we're going to probably plan and go. But
we're definitely going. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. State in Harrisburg. That's happening.
Do you want me to talk about the con
we could do our whole Lums are on board. We'll talk about Paul Rubens, hop into ghosts, segue.
If not, do you want me to do the Lums are on board as the Lums are on board the ghost thing? Because that could be interesting intake.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, unless you got something else, Lums are on board.
We could do that. It could be a very interesting. We could tie that in. Then we could go into the quick Martinsburg show and work their way from there, spiral out of control that way.
Oh, by the way, I hate to mention them because heaven forbid our trolls show back up. But guess what weird invite I got today in my email? I about died laughing.
What?
We invite you to Blobfest 2024. July 12th through the 14th. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah. Y'all might rethink that.
You should send out an email saying, yeah, wasn't I banned from this event permanently?
Oh, wait, I wasn't banned because you all didn't tell me I was banned. Y'all just shadow banned me because I asked questions.
You should put that in. It's like, didn't y'all shadow ban me last year by refunding all my money? ...
Because I was even like,
Oh, and it's like, oh, do you want me to come to your event next year so you could refund my money and shadow ban me again because I'm a troublemaker?
I'm too adult, remember?
I'm too adult.
I'm the most
Despite
hated.
despite the fact that one person that's being more adult right now is me by dropping at least one F-bomb and one MF bomb. So
No, I'm too adult.
I'm too adult. So
Said the horror movie convention.
said the horror. Maybe we should get Dan Noakes involved in our next show because obviously the three of us are too adult for a lot of folks.
Too adult. We're too real.
You know, we're too risque. We'll get to that in folks. Nothing against Dan Noakes. He's a great guy.
I swear I'm not getting beat. I just get mysterious bruises. Such is life. The joys of heart meds.
It's for me. It's that I sit outside with a bunch of mosquitoes attacking my everything else. So
It's like this past weekend while I was over at Owl's. What's with those weird little speckled bruises around your thighs? And I about died laughing. I'm like, let's consider some of our bedroom proclivities and then you'll figure it out. It's like, I'm bruising you. And I'm like, I own blood thinners and all kinds of things that make me bruise just by sneezing, you know?
now I'm laughing about odd moments. Sorry. I think I was at Walmart today, and what I forget, I'm about halfway home, and what I finally remembered to look for at Walmart while I was waiting on my prescription, the damn stupid H for this damn thing. I'm near a Hobby Lobby and Walmart. I'm like, what I forget to look at? The damn H. I'm like, son of a bitch. It was just that random thought. It was just like, I forgot to look for the damn H. Son of a bitch.
You should bring the mask for state. I'll bring the other one. I'll bring the all
plan on
black
it. I plan on bringing this and like a almost like a top hat, a steampunk type hat. So
Need monocle.
monocle. Have you ever? That's the thing. I have two sets of steampunk glasses. You know, the goggle type things. One has a red and green filter in it. The other one is just an average tint. Oh, don't walk around with a red and green filter on permanent for a while. Oh, it's fucking trippy. I did that when I first went to the eye doctor and they put drops in my eyes. I figured where are the goggles because they cover the complete eye and don't allow the light in. Oh, that was a bad idea walking home. Looking at roses was completely wrong. It was like I took LSD. Yeah. I didn't take LSD, but it was like I almost say I took LSD because it wasn't they weren't red. They were like white with like a purpley round thing going all the way around, I'm like, oh my God, this is hurting my eyes. If I didn't need these things on my face right now, I'd take them off. So, not to mention the leaves were a weird color. The sky was a weird color. Never again. Maybe I will.
Got some plastic 3D glasses around here if you want to borrow them.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I do go that red and green route, I'm doing the whole Spider Jerusalem route, the square and the circle, red and green. They used to sell those.
Oh yeah, you can even get the glasses from Trigun as well. All right, are we ready for this?
Tiger face. Lemon face. Prove I'm actually doing it.
All right. Lums are on board. What plaything do you have for me today?
Something out of I bet you were about to think SK system, but you're wrong.
Ah,
Something out of our own home base. And that is weird stinking audio on our end. Just that I've been telling Sasha I discovered something weird not 2 weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago.
4 weeks.
Because two weeks ago was our SAG episode, and it was the week before that when I noticed something a little odd with the audio, and that is because on my end I share the audio version of the uncensored podcast, and plus I give any updates, et cetera, et cetera. So I get to look at the audio through the popular free program Audacity, and I notice sometimes a little bit of like spikes. They're literally, it looks like this thin, but for the camera, about the thin of a wire or a cord. If you have something corded on your computer with headphones or something like that, but spikes kind of show up like that. It's just like a big squiggly line. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I noticed because I have a fridge because my place is really tiny. My hand is right on the fridge right next door. And I figured a lot of the audio I've been picking up is like maybe the fridge kicking on, or maybe something like if Sasha's searching something on the internet or replying to a comment, you might hear the keyboard. If the mics are super sensitive, or because I'm sitting on my bed, if a spring pops up, if I have a microphone sitting right on the bed, it's going to pick that up, et cetera, et cetera. That's what gets picked up. Not to mention, me and Sasha are podcasting across the internet. So you might get a little bit of spikes in regards to glitches. And a lot of times that's what those spikes were when I amplified them, were glitches or an inhale from Sasha, inhale from me, somebody just chuckling ever so lightly. Therefore, the mic was picking up that light chuckle or click of the teeth, or heck, even me opening up the top of my cup or taking a sip. But when we were talking about the SAG and everything, there were several four to be precise, that I was able to notice. The first one is when we were talking about bullying. Sasha mentioned something about in regards to bullying. And right after that, there was a light audio spike. And when I amplified it, it kind of sounds like the sound was like, or what can be made out like how? Like Sasha said, bullying. And someone saying, like how? Sort of speak. The next one was when Sasha was made the reference to made reference to the raised line. You never studied. And there was another spike after that sounded like to, or so, it was almost like it wanted to pick up, the mic wanted to pick up would like to, but only picked up like to. The other one was another Ghostbuster related incident when Sasha was talking about her drama that she was having with a Ghostbusters cosplay group several years ago, and says that she makes reference that she was telling the folks behind the Force State event that I should give you a list, and it's like said the spike when amplifies like us, like what do we do? That's how it came out. Like what do we do? The final one that I managed to pick up was when we were talking, making about the movie reference in regards to I think we were making reference to MPAA or something like that, movie ratings. And so again, on your end, you said like the late 60s, maybe 68. And what it comes up like someone saying, like you. Like somebody was you and I were talking and somebody overheard us say 1968, and someone would look to us like you. As if to say you're old, you're 1968. But again, all this stuff with EVPs and all that is very controversial. It could be some of it could be chalked up to, yeah, it's an audio glitch. Yeah, it might be something, internet spike, shit happens through, even though me and Sasha are working through Zoom right now. When I used to record stuff through Skype, oh, there were audio glitches all the time. There would be spikes. Just like if you said that, like stuff, shit, store, it would drag out the a lot, or there'd be a lot of static.
You have to look at it too as like with human beings, we always try to find something that's identifiable. Like it's kind of like, oh, what's that thing? Pareidolia.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking. The human brain wants to find patterns in
faces and things and
stuff. That's why we have ink blot tests and all that fun jazz. I remember watching like a YouTube or a documentary saying, yeah, for a species, the human species, we're very intelligent, but the brain itself is very stupid and easily fooled. Yep. So the documentary was not making fun of any one type of person or group of people. It was just saying, yeah, see how it can be considered an illusion. That's how the brain can be easily fooled. Or if you look at certain spirals, it looks like it's moving. That's how the brain can be easily fooled while it's a stationary object.
But like when it comes to things, our brain sometimes tries to fill in the blanks. Like if you look at 90% of like a cryptid sighting, like how often is it a bear with mange?
Right.
And it literally could be. Look at what some people have been calling the chupacabra is just a coyote with mange.
Right.
There's a lot of people looking in old cases and things of that nature, because sometimes our brain is only picking up on certain things and it's not picking up everything at the moment of the action. It's why even eyewitness testimony is not accurate, because we're perceiving it as it's happening, but our brain is filling in a lot of the blanks that basically we don't have, or we don't have all the available data for. And
yep. And
it's interesting how creative the human mind is. And at the end of the day, yes, I dabble in the paranormal. The Book of the Dead is right back there. But the thing of it is I'm also a woman of science. And I wouldn't say I'm a skeptic. I would just say, when you dabble with paranormal research in general, like people on YouTube or dear fucking God, the Ghost Adventures guys, they don't use equipment that is accurate. Some of them are using faulty, what were those not PlayStation, Xbox 360's cameras called?
Yeah, the Kinects.
Yeah, they're using the Kinect camera, and if anybody's ever played a video game on Kinect, it's glitchier than sin. You're gonna get weird things that show up, because it's not perfect, it's not accurate. And going off of EMFs and the whole thing with like random like radio signals and pulling out voices from the air, again, it's left to the interpretation. You heard a noise, your brain is saying it sounds like this, and those guys may adamantly believe that they've gotten some sort of positive answer. So of course it's kind of like mass hysteria.
It's interesting science as well. It's like you have, if they, especially with EVPs, if they say, hey, someone said, if you listen closely to this EVP, someone says hello, your brain's gonna listen for hello. and it could not be hello, it could be something else going on, and yet you're going to hear hello because it's already in your head. It's like there was that aspect of, this was like 5-6 years ago, when it was roughly around the time of, is the dress blue or red?
Or hell,
Deal.
just people who screw up
No,
song lyrics constantly.
It's not just that. It was like there was an audio clip. It was going around roughly again, when is this a blue dress or a red dress deal, that if you listened and you listened carefully, you heard either one thing or another, and it was, both were exactly correct, and you could actually train your brain and your ears to hear both. And so it was actual science that you both were correct, and it was just a matter of which side of your
Right.
audio sense. But
Well, it's like people who
correlate-
misunderstand song lyrics, that they believe for the longest time that the song said revved up like a douche instead of revved up like a deuce, you know?
but you have to also figure, folks at home, I know those watching, I gotta describe it, but we do have audio listeners. Let's say this back of this book is representative of the visual and or hearing spectrum. We as humans only see that much.
Yeah.
I know there are some animals that only see red or only see certain things, but ours are, for the most part, see very little. And I'm holding like a very thin audio wire or auxiliary wire dead center. We're not seeing everything. We don't know if that's why you have a lot of folks in the paranormal community that say that cats or dogs are able to see stuff that we cannot see, or that sort of thing, or cats and dogs are able to hear things that we cannot hear because their visual spectrum and their audio spectrum is a little bit better than ours. So how true that is in regards to them, those types of animals picking something up, is unknown, but it's interesting science because it is a valid science, but it's not something that we could fully prove in regards to the paranormal.
And so, like on this episode, just as an experiment, I'm recording it the same way we did the last one. So it's going to have the whole online instead of recording directly to my computer. So who knows? Maybe we'll have something that proves us wrong.
Let me put it like this. Ladies and gentlemen, or this will be, because this might be up on Sasha's end in regards to OnlyFans first before I do any audio. If you're watching this on YouTube, OnlyFans, or wherever, and listen to the audio podcast version of this, at the end, if I pick up anything that's weird or different, I will copy it and paste it, and I'll include it at the end part of the show as part of the updates. And I'll have all of you listeners out there, or if you're listening to this, if I pick up anything, it'll be at the end, part of the updates, and I'll let all of you out there decide if you hear the same thing I do. And if you do, if your outlet of choice, whether it's Good Pods, Podbean, or whatever, even if it's on YouTube, go on YouTube or Sasha's OnlyFans page, leave a comment to see if you that you listened to the audio podcast, and see if you heard the same thing I heard or what have you. Leave a comment, react.
And for those who's listening to the ethereal plane, from the ethereal plane, if you feel like reaching out and contacting us, by all means, you know how. So please do.
Because I always check for dead air when I do the audio stuff. So I'll see your little squiggles.
Yep, we'll see you. We'll see you. We'll see you,
Yeah.
or we'll see how much bullshit it is. One of the two.
I know I've been talking a lot, but there's one little thing we go into before we go into what Sasha wants to cover and all that, because I know we want to talk about some recent news and all that. And that is, we talked about Otacon earlier in the pre-show. We did have, at least I don't know what that was. Was that me?
Yeah, it must have
I know
been
that. That means I got to I know that was probably, I got a chance to go to the Library Comic-Con, this Martinsburg Library Comic-Con, like last week.
Why are
the
we
week
always
before.
going to our haters? We just need to let them come to us.
Mhm. But I though I've had issues with the library before, but the library, a lot of the librarians are cool with what I do and everything else. And yeah, I have to change some of the stuff in the background. I've been lazy in regards to that. When the library is less than an eighth of a mile down the road, I'm going to go. But Dan Noakes was there. I had it seems like, or at least what's been recently happening right now, it's like as soon as I leave, within maybe 5-10 minutes, a lot of interesting stuff happens. Because I said, Dan Noakes was there. He was having the time of his life. Dan was doing his thing. It was busier than usual, but I'm sure as soon as the costume contest was done, it kind of went downhill, or in regards to
How it
attendance,
goes.
because that's usually how it goes. But according to Dan, so Dan was our shout outs to Dan Noakes being our our on-site reporter
The
regards to
man on the
things.
inside.
Man on the inside said that he saw an ugly meltdown between two cosplayers, and it gave him a sick sense of satisfaction, but it kind of disturbed him as well. I would have loved to seen what went down, but either way, it sounded like, oh, I should have been there to see that shit, because I probably would have laughed my ass off. And the other thing was that one of the library, he said, so yesterday I was approached by one of the librarians from the show I showed them my Chicken USDA rejected graphic novel. They seemed to like it at first. Then they told me they would have bought it for the library, but they only handle young adult fiction and seemed entirely too adult for them to buy. Let me just say this. I'm not defending the library. I'm not defending Dan in any way. But let me say this. A lot of the folks that are in charge of the Library Comic-Con are the young adult section folks, and they give them literally like $1.50 for the budget to bring, advertise and everything else. Literally, there were 20 vendors there, and they probably at $20 a head, they probably made $400 with tables anyway, which is donation to the library. Does the library give them that $400 to spend on advertising and everything else for next year? No, but they'll be happy to take your money. That's beside the point. But there was the library. That librarian was probably just a young adult librarian and didn't have authority. But let me say this: thank God I didn't read them yet, and I rented this from the library, the local library. It is the Kick-Ass 2 prequel, Hit Girl. I rented it from the Martinsburg Public Library. It is a very adult graphic novel. If Sasha, I don't know if you read it or not, but yes. It's very adult graphic novel. The Martinsburg Library has a adult graphic library section. That's how I got this. Now, if they were actually interested in buying Dan's book, they could have gotten one of the folks who was actually authorized to buy the book for the library to pick it up for their adult section. Why they didn't, who knows? They were probably like a lot of folks at our show, all talk, no bite. Yeah. So either way, that's my take on it, or both mine and Dan's take in regards to it. But either way, let's get into a couple of other things.
Well, let's just do our regular show opening. So
yeah,
dramatic pause. And of course, as always, I'm Sasha Constantine Monroe, aka Sasha, the Princess of Darkness. You're presently listening to Sasha After Dark, the podcast of darkness, or if you're on the flip of the script, You're listening to the Long Coat Mafia podcast featuring Mr. Christopher Lumser, aka
The Martinsburg Madman, aka the Reverend Godfather himself.
yes, indeed, indeed. So you kind of get a double whammy with us. You know, if you're not listening to my side, you're listening to his side. But either way, you're listening, and it's all numbers, baby.
Or if you want, you're also watching the clips on the YouTube side of things too. So because the clips fell off the back of a truck, god damn it. So
the clips are fun, and it's great, especially the Golden Girls one.
yeah.
That we've gotten a lot of talk. So since we were talking about the ethereal plane and ghosts and things of that nature, since we're on to news topics, you know, recently, you know, we had heard that Paul Rubens has passed. A lot of people didn't know
Yes.
this, but he was set to be Gozer the Gozerian in Ghostbusters and turned the role down. But he was going to be a well-dressed, kind of like distinguished 1920s gentleman kind of appearing character to be Gozer. And that would have made a completely different movie. I wish I lived in that alternative universe to watch that cut. But everybody mostly knows him as Pee Wee Herman. Me personally, I enjoyed him as Max, the little like computer AI in Flight of the Navigator. Then you had one of my favorite characters he ever did was Amlin from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, not the TV show. And then of course, you know, the Spleen from Mystery Men. Not only that, but he played, you know, Penguin's dad twice. He did it in Batman Returns and then again in Gotham, I believe.
Yeah. Also, for those folks at home, Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman, or say Pee Wee Herman, aka Paul Rubens, has also been known over the past many years as the King of Comeback, because twice folks have tried to take him down, or twice stuff has happened to him that in today's vernacular got him canceled. The first time was back in the 90s when he was caught self-pleasuring himself in a porn theory. Oh, the heavens.
Oh, you saw he had to do that episode of Crack. He was so concerned about the drug crisis in America in the 80s. He had to go to the adult theater and make his dick cry.
Right. And the thing is, I saw TikTok videos like, yeah, imagine being the snitch that had to go to the box office to report somebody in the back self-pleasuring
the adult theater.
In theater.
Adult theater. It wasn't probably just him. There's probably about 4 or 5 going to
and not only that, he was making his comeback, and it was during his time because there was it was a fun computer game. They tried to make it an actual live action trivia game on TV, and that was You Don't Know Jack. He played the host for that game show on TV. It only lasted maybe about 5-10 episodes, and it got canceled after 10 episodes. I don't think it was because it was popular, it's because also during that time his house got rated for what was claimed to be child porn, but it wasn't. And he kind of went that route, and this, he was found innocent. And when again, same TikTok video, a few years later, when the statutory limitations was about to run out, a different person working in the DA's office said, no, let's try this way again. Let's try to, bring back the charges. And Paul just pleaded to a lesser charge, like a real less. It was like $100 fine and pretty much, I won't say time served, but it was like, as long as you're not around kids unsupervised, you'll be fine. And since during that time, he was taking care of his father, he was fine, so like, okay, I'm taking care of my dad anyway. He's really sick with, I think it was like cancer. So, that was not an issue. And he served his time. And he might have been due to a comeback, but cancer hit him. God rest his soul. He was known for a lot of wide variety of weird and wonderful characters, from Pee Wee Herman to Penguin's dad to who knows,
The spleen.
the spleen. So I won't say, a lot of folks have said that Paul Reubens was a very weird person to know at times.
God, is it too soon for me to make the obvious joke about him being the comeback king?
Go ahead.
I mean, if
our haters are gonna hate anyway.
This, it's the comeback god.
I think a lot of the whole fans would be like, my God, he really is the comeback king. Came back from death. Holy shit, this guy's good. And the thing is,
could he pull that off?
Anybody, I think he'd be the only guy that could have pulled it off. And I think, but yet nobody would be totally surprised. He'd be like, holy shit, he managed to pull it off. But then again, it's 2023. Why are we surprised?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of odd surprises, so as you've seen in the news, everybody's freaking out about aliens. Ooh, aliens. This is my angle on this, and the government admits that UFOs and UAPs exist. Basically, they're saying, yeah, there's shit in the sky we can't identify, because UFO, unidentified flying object, UAP, unexplained aerial phenomenon.
Right.
I look up in the sky and there's shit in the sky on a regular basis I can't identify. And then, of course, there was some crashes and we recovered non-human remains. Now,
non-human biologics.
Yeah, but the thing of it is you're still saying human. Like, the space program was prone to launching monkeys and God knows what else in space for years.
As somebody described it, even Tim Pool kind of described it as well. I know we both probably disagree with Tim Pool and all that, but he put it best, and on TikTok we pull it best, and they kind of correlate with each other. If someone creates an unknown spy balloon, weather balloon, so forth and so on, that people cannot recognize, it hits in the process of doing its thing, hits a bird and crashes. Therefore, it is a UAP that, and when people recover it, it can be classified as a UAP or UFO, and anything that
non-human
remains, non-human or non-human remains, pure and simple.
Yeah, it's saying nothing but saying a lot all at once.
Right. Or as Tim Pool stated when he was talking about it, they could literally find a bug on a leaf near this downed craft, whatever it might be, and it would be non-human remains.
Yeah, see,
same shit.
The only thing to get excited about would be if they said non-terrestrial remains.
Right.
But then it's questionable, and I just love it because everybody on Facebook's going nuts. But the joke is, okay, cool, we're kind of aware of that, but can you tell us about Epstein Island a little bit more?
Right. And the best thing is like, well, how do you know aliens are out there? Let me put it like this. I'm going to use the same analogy a physicist, an astrophysicist put out there. We as humans, when it comes to outer space, covered about this much worth of what's out there. It's like going to the ocean, filling up this cup full of that water. And that's pretty much how much outer space we've looked at and surveyed. And when we look at this cup of water, we see no fish in it. So we're going to say there's no fish in this water because there's no fish in this cup. Yet there could literally be fish in that body of water out there. So is there life outside or extraterrestrial life out in the universe? Probably.
Yeah, and I doubt they're going to be visiting here.
Right.
Let's be honest. Like all we've done to encourage them to come up is send up a bunch of math and science and a couple nudes on human biologicals. Like, hell, I wouldn't even pay attention to somebody who sends me something like that on Tinder. No, I'm good. Your math and your dick pic. Cool.
I like the videos on TikTok that they're reading like word prompts or word stuff, and it's regards to how we as humans are the equivalent of space Australia. Send the humans there. They're immune to water.
If there is intelligent life, we are the intergalactic equivalent of herpes to them, because we get somewhere, we fuck it up anyway. So there's probably a little sign outside of our known universe or galaxy that reads, "Here there be humans. Quarantine, biological hazard."
We are the equivalent of some like bad neighborhood or something like that. Lock the doors, don't go near them.
Near them. No. Now, see, if scientists want to find out if there's life out there, advertise it. You SETI advertise an intergalactic kegger.
What? We're already the equivalent of the Jehovah's Witnesses of space, probably, as it is. Just going around. No, you home? Can we talk to you about our people, the planet Earth? Hello.
I mean, you're gonna get a lot more people to come out if you're offering barbecue, some beer. You never know.
And that's the fun thing. If you look, folks, to kind of bring it back to the geek aspect, you have a lot of sci-fi programs out there. In Hitchhiker's Guide, it was gin and tonic, that every sentient race somehow had a gin and tonic that were nowhere connected to each other. They always had a gin and tonic. In John Michael Straczynski's JMS's Babylon 5, everybody had some form of Swedish meatballs. And that was because the car's eating like these little meatballs. He's like, "Here, try these things." Like, the other guy's like, "These are the best delicacy from." He's like, "You got these from
there's our
home planet." He's like, "You got these from you got these from our home planet. They're so good." He's like, No. These are Swedish meatballs. You could get them at the the equivalent of the promenade." He's like, "No." Like, yeah, it's odd. Every sentient race has a version of these Swedish meatballs, and they're like, it's like, what do we have that every like? Here's some moonshine and some liquor. You have moonshine too.
And that's all you gotta do. And open up like the Miss Universe pageant and let it be the whole universe, or make it Miss Multiverse pageant. I'd be down. Shit gets trippy.
I'll be down for that. Let me sign up for that. I'll be a little weird for that. I'll be a little creeper for that. I'll pull a Jason Mewes for that, so I could walk around like, so people go like, "See that motherfucker? He fucked a Martian once."
And it doesn't even have to be humanoid. That's the rule, And that was the one thing that always upset me about
I swear, I'll ask for consent.
That was the thing that always bugged me with, like, James Tiberius Kirk, such a ladies' man. But yeah, he was real quick to shoot them ladies if they're hairy and salt vampires. It's like, green skin, okay.
How do you know there's some late night radio or TV program somewhere? Have you been sexually assaulted by one James Tiberius Kirk and are looking for child support? Dial 555 J13.
That's why I always liked what was that, Galaxy Quest, where the engineer guy falls for the alien chick and he doesn't care if she has tentacles. He's kind of into it. Like,
it's not. That's the thing. I think you covered it. That's something else in regards to Galaxy Quest. That engineer throughout the whole movie, it was cut content. he was supposed to be, the reason why he was so chill is that he was supposed to be stoned throughout the whole film. That's why he was doing so much. He was just so down with it because he was stoned. He was smoking the devil's lettuce. He was smoking weed. That's what he was doing. He was just, dude.
It's inside out.
Oh, dude.
I think I got it. But like legit, start advertising that stuff. Come on, like researchers need to go out and party more. We could be the vacation spot for the entire galaxy.
I'll still be on the like, oh, aliens are coming. Hold on, I'll be there where they're landing with a sign saying "Take me off this damn rock."
Just make
I
sure
want
you got
off.
make sure you got your pickup truck and your flannel shirt on, because I hear they're really into those guys.
I'll wear my flannel shirt. I don't have a pickup truck.
You can borrow one.
Can I borrow your Jeep? Hey, Hatfield, can I get some of that damn moonshine?
Because you ever notice that's who gets abducted. It's like, are we sure they're getting abducted, or are they really into it? Because I get a lot of rednecks that hit on me, so they might be into some interspecies strange.
You notice that the ones that actually get abducted, they also get like anally probed and sexually assaulted. They're having a more good time than me. And I'm looking for it's some alien poo-tang.
Alien Tinder.
The alien Tinder. How do I sign up for alien Tinder?
Because like you wouldn't be sure if you want to swipe right or left. This is a humanoid. Curious. She might be a 5 on her planet, but to you, she a 10.
Am I willing to? Damn straight. Death by Snoo Snoo. Death by Snoo Snoo will be on my tombstone if they were aliens.
Do you
How'd
want
he
to
die?
die with crushed pelvis?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yay! Oh, yes.
With the government admitting that there's stuff in the sky that they unidentified, they can't identify. And oh yeah, by the way, we sometimes find remains that aren't of human origin. Like, dude, I can ride down the side of 81 and find non-human remains on the regular. Now, I find human remains, I'm gonna get a little excited.
You and I are going to be up in Harrisburg in a few weeks. We could look for human remains.
Yeah, we just gotta be careful where we look.
Right. Now, I'm the kind of person that's low budget. I'm easily entertained by poking it with a stick. Now, what kind of stick you want to poke it with is up to you. I'm just going to have the actual 2x4.
I find a skull. I'm gonna have to do the story over. I knew him well. We went bowling on Tuesdays.
We had bowling.
Was there a reason why you all defiled the corpse? It was there.
Is it? It's been 7 years.
We propped it upright and it seemed like its head nodded. It may have been gravity.
It was either the corpse or following the song from the window to the wall.
He had cold clammy sweat.
It's going to be from the window to the wall, and it's going to look like a demolition was starting to take place at waist level. Would not be.
I was curious if they stayed hard. I saw this movie once. It had a girl that fucked the dead guy in it.
Well, it wasn't a guy, but it was a girl, so I had some Vaseline. CVS was open.
It was Clerks. Come on, you know that movie.
Yeah, I know. I was going through an actual. Oh, have you seen that movie? I see that look that yes, you have.
Oh, were you talking about Necromantic?
I think so. It was that chick that was pretty much a zombie, and they pretty much pimped her out.
Oh no, that's Dead Girl.
Dead Girl.
Necromantic predates that. That just gets weird. And if you want really
So we both
disturbing,
seen.
if you want really disturbing, watch a Serbian film.
No, I'm not in the mood for that right now.
That's disturbing. Even I couldn't finish it. That should be like somewhere Sasha couldn't finish it. Sasha had to look away.
Or how pissed does Martinsburg Madmen have to be to finish watching this movie so it doesn't win? Just like Skins. Don't watch Skins. I had to watch it because it was all over my Facebook feed. Bad idea.
We can touch on the whole service animal thing. So recently, because people love to bring my attention to civil rights issues that are out there. Out in my area, well, not exactly my area, but it's close enough. You know, it's kind of like the armpit of Franklin County. But Fulton County is kind of like this little tiny thing. It's not too far from Franklin. And there's this little town known as McConnellsburg. And inside McConnellsburg is the Fulton Pub, which is a pub that had opened previously and then closed and then reopened. See, you can tell they already don't have a good bit of history, but it being, you know, a town that your neighbors are two cows and you might get lucky and have somebody 5 miles down the road. And you hope that they're not blood relation if they have, you know, a daughter or a son that you fancy. But anyways, there's this place known as the Fulton Pub, you know, because real original in that area. And somebody brought to my attention, like, oh yeah, they're starting to discriminate against service animals. And I, of course, being me, Miss Troublemaker, I had to double dutch into the comments to see what was going on. Well, they post this big thing. We are no longer allowing animals of any kind in our establishment. And of course, somebody asked the obvious question. Well, what about service animals and ESAs, which are emotional support animals, which per PA regulations, and Fulton County is an EA, is a service animal. So of course, Fulton County is like only service animals. And it's like, yeah, but an ESA is a service animal. And of course, I read them the Riot Act. I also gave them the information per PA state guidelines. Like, yeah, an ESA is just like a seeing, well, not just like, but like a seeing eye dog. Because there's a lot of vets in the area. There's a lot of people that suffer PTSD that have that ESA animal. Yep. So when they go,
that's one of the things I want. This is one of the things I want to go into with Sasha, because there's a lot of folks out there that have like a Chihuahua, or they'll have a Shih Tzu or something like that, that they claim, quote unquote, claim is a emotional support animal. Now, the thing with service animals or emotional support animals, these are animals, mainly dogs, that are highly trained.
Yep.
They're literally highly trained, that if you brought them into a establishment like a restaurant, they're not going to get distracted. They're not going to bark. They're not going to do anything. They're going to be, they are, if anything, you're not even notice that they are there. Those so-called service animals, if you walk by, they're going to bite, they're going to bark, they're going to pull, they're going to sniff other people. You could bring ESA or a service animal right down the center of a restaurant. They're going to smell every scent, but it's like a soldier. They're going right down their faces right up, but
that's the difference.
That's it.
That's one of the things I always want to point out to people, because once an animal misbehaves in public, then it becomes a problem and you can call the police. But right. We live in a very ableist world. A lot of people don't buy into invisible illnesses. and they feel the need to question everybody. Now, per state law, as a business owner, and this is very well defined, you can walk up to somebody and ask them if it's a service animal. And the answer in PA is, if they say yes, you just leave it at that and you move on unless a problem arises. Like if the animal nips somebody or the animal's not being controlled or contained, at that point, as a business owner, you can say, hey, your animal's acting a little funny in here. We don't appreciate it. We're going to call the police and have them make a judgment call. 9 times out of 10, somebody who has falsified documents is going
Yeah,
to
that's the other thing. Now, I think me and Sasha are agreeing on a lot of points because I've heard a lot of companies out there that they claim that we will certify your animal, your dog, your cat for $50 as a service animal. So you're able to bring it into an apartment complex, bring it into a rental home or a hotel. A lot of these, I will say probably 98% of these companies are scams. That's it. Those certificates are worthless. 2% are probably legit. These are probably let's say the National Center for Blind Service Dogs. I don't know if it's a legit thing, but for the sake of argument, they actually train labs and for seeing eye dogs. They will probably give their dogs certification papers if needed, or something like that.
And that's the thing with certification paperwork, because a lot of people's like, well, you have paperwork, you should show it. Technically, per law, you don't have to. Because again, going back to that whole thing, as a business owner, if you've got questions and concerns, all you can ask that person is this a service animal, yes or no? You can't ask them what it's for. You can't ask to see additional documentation, because then you get into that whole gray, it's not quite HEPA, but it's very similar, which is Health Information Protection Act, which is also Health Information Privacy Act. Because at that point, some people don't want to discuss what their health issue is or their disability. And they shouldn't have to. But the reason why that documentation does exist is if your animal does bite somebody or does something off the wall that it shouldn't be doing, then the cops can be called and examine that paperwork. But that's the thing. Most people will see somebody who doesn't look like they have a health issue. They might see somebody who they wouldn't know looking at them like yourself is diabetic, because there's some service animals that can definitely tell when your sugar raises and lows. And a lot of people don't realize that. There are animals that can pick up on blackouts. There are animals that can pick up, but from day to day, aside from them maybe seeing you take your insulin, or if you had an episode somewhere, they're not going to know. They're just going to think you're just Joe Smoke bringing your animal in here, and so they're going to jump. And that's problematic too. But if there's somebody in there and their animal's wowing out and being a pain in the ass, you have every right as a business owner to ask them to leave. And if they want to bring up that it's a service animal, at that point, call the cops. They can show their documentation. But don't jump the gun until somebody's critter wows out. Because, this is a place that allows children. I'm going to be honest with you. I know kids, and trust me, sometimes an animal's a hell of a lot more sanitary than a human child.
And the thing is, a lot of times it's the kids, and you do have a bunch of Karens that are out there that they want to have their kids that pet service animals, and that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So there's that. I know I saw there, as Sasha said, there's a lot of different types of service animals. I think I saved it. I thought I saved it to either my phone or my tablet. Apparently I didn't. But it was somebody. It was funny because the person was on a plane and she was getting weirded out by the wiener dog. She really adored the wiener dog that was sitting next to them on the plane. And the
The same lady
experience
that
was
saw
like,
the alien.
no, it was just the person came and said, my dog keeps alerting me to the post was like, the person sitting next to me said, my dog keeps alerting, you should have your heart checked out, my dog keeps alerting me. And she said, that's how I found out my heart, I had an irregular heartbeat. But she said, shout out to that dog, wiener dog, because he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It was just this, funny experience that this dog was, alerting her owner that somebody, hey, this is my job, let her know that she's got something wrong. I know Wesley Spengler's wife has a service dog, ESA, emotional support, because she had, I was talking to her about it. You want to talk a dog that was well behaved, but as soon as she said, told the dog, you're off the clock, that dog was still very well behaved and just went around to everybody like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Need any pets? Need any puppy love? Okay. But it was, I remember during one of the shoots for Zero, we had, the dog was out, was sitting right next to, it was off the leash, sitting right next to his wife. As soon as we dropped, it like it had to run over. You guys okay? And it kept coming over like, you guys okay? So like, and looking at Wesley, they fell down. You got to check them. They fell down. And he was like cutting like, Wesley, don't yell at the dog. Don't. The dog's just doing its job. It's a service dog. I know it's trained for anxiety and all that, but it saw folks fall down and thought maybe that we were being falling due to anxiety or something like that. So he came over to check on, just being a good boy, and then just, hold it for a second, give it a little like rub on the head and go noogie, like I used to. I know my big mutt would have been a wonderful, he probably wouldn't have been a service dog, but he had an attitude of a service dog, because of, he was just, he wanted to love everybody. He was the type of dog that I'd put in a headlock and to give it head scratches and all the while going noogie. And he just one of those idiots that would love something like that. And
yeah, but
I know
it's just funny because people always come to me when they see something like that, and it's like, all right, let me crack the old knuckles and talk
just
to
do
these
it.
people. But the thing of it is at the end of the day, I guess they had enough people join in and throw a fit that they slowly tried to change the topic somewhere else. I'm surprised they didn't delete the post. But again, it's Fulton County. I'm surprised they know how a computer or a telephone even works. How can I talk to people? This thing is not attached to the wall, and there's no dial on it.
Dial, you and your modern things, we had to pull off something for me and go, I
Stick the
need
one horn in your
Sarah
ear and talk with the other.
553
And you
513.
and you click the receiver a couple times, operator show up, ask who you're going to call, and you say it's Jeannie down the street, and she knows because the operator's sitting on top of that telephone pole ready for your call.
I need Gene 555.
Oh, but yeah,
Sarah, get off the line. It's a party line. I need to use the phone.
It's funny because it's like, this is the county in which I reside. Well, not Fulton. I live close enough to Fulton where I can smell it from here. It smells like cow shit. That or that's Earl, one of the two. But yes, it's interesting. They've slowly kind of backed away from that post. Didn't delete the post, but started deleting comments because they kind of knew they were in the wrong. Because they even wound up blocking my business page, but not my personal page, which I always think is funny. I'm like, y'all figured out how to block that one. That one's the more complex one. You all got a rocket scientist working there at least. He might be able to fix your Cadillac converter there.
that's always fun when you strike up. Like I was telling you this past, when was it, Saturday when we met? I was telling you about that, one argument I was getting in with somebody, and somebody was like, well, you got to get a better job. And I ended it. It's like, yeah, you know what, check your privilege. And they tried to reply to me in regards to that. And obviously, either one of the moderators from the page deleted it or they deleted it. Either way, I couldn't see their reply. So
No,
either
they
they
probably
blocked.
blocked you.
No, I was able to see. If they blocked me, I wouldn't have been able to see their previous reply. I would have just been able to see my comment. It was just their comment after that.
Yeah.
So
they you can also turn off further commenting, so that kind of locks everything down.
So it was obviously they commented, replied to it, because it was like my comment, their reply, my reply, and if you look under their reply, it says 2 more. And when you click on 2 more, it just shows mine. So it was either deleted or not hidden or what have you. So
it is what it is. It almost sounds like the issue I have with this dude online at the moment. So, with Al and the whole dental procedure that didn't go through this weekend. So I was a little salty because he worked through the appointment. He's like, yeah, I got busy at work. And I'm like, you took a half day. This is your health. When the clock struck noon, you walk out. That's somebody else's problem at that point. But anyways, I had made the comment, the men, and I have this guy that he just kind of like hovers around waiting to see if something goes wrong with my relationship to try to dive into my DMs. And it was just hilarious because Monday I'm still over there at Al's because I had taken the time off and might as well just hang out. And Al's at work and he shoots me this DM. What are you up to today? I'm like, oh well, I'm up in Carlisle. I'm cleaning up the apartment and playing some Fallout 4. I thought you lived in Chambersburg is the immediate reply. I'm like, I do, but I've been spending a lot of time up here with my boyfriend, and some part of me is considering maybe moving up here at some point. And instant block. But this is a guy who will wait to see if he can see any turmoil going on in my relationship, try to jump into my DMs. And it's like, dude, please. Relationships have issues. If you want a friend, I'll be your friend all day long, but you're knocking on the wrong door.
You should have had me. You should have had me yell at Al this past Saturday.
No, I get where he's coming from, but it's like I told him, like, your health comes first. I said, you need to schedule it. You need to let me know when the next appointment is so we can get that shit out of your gob and call it a day.
It's like I said, if you wanted me to yell at him in regards to it, I would have yelled at. Been there. I was like,
no,
dude, your health matters, and I would have proudly showed him the scar on the side of my neck, and it's like, it's like, listen, see this. The only reason why I'm here and I have this to show people is because a good friend of mine dragged my hairy ass to the fucking hospital to have me take care of it. Yep. Do I need to have Sasha drag your hairy ass to the doctor's department so you can get something taken care of? Granted, mine was probably.
I've been to the doctors. Like he was mad at me and wouldn't talk to me for a solid 3 years during the whole, or not 3 years, 3 days for the whole COVID thing. Because he kept telling me his symptoms because he was sick and still going to work and not getting better and running a fever and everything. I'm like, go to the doctors. And more or less what I did this past weekend, I got in touch with his 2 best friends. It was like, hey, this is what's going on with Al. I need a chorus here to kind of relay the same info. And yeah, he was kind of salty, but he eventually saw the point. I'm like, you could have got sick and collapsed because he had strong COVID at that point, and he was still at work. I said, not only were you putting your own health at risk, you were putting everybody around you's health at risk. And I said, you've told me many times that you work with people who have heart problems, breathing issues, etc. You could have killed any one of them just by working. I'm like, DHL don't care. You go home. They'd rather you don't affect everybody like that goddamn monkey from Outbreak.
Al works for DHL.
Yeah.
He works for that Mickey Mouse company.
Yeah. Dewey, Huey, and Louie.
And Louis.
But he works in IT. But the other day he was growling because he was doing stuff in receiving. I'm like, you're IT. Yeah, but I've done that job before and they were stuck with something. I'm like, that's below your pay grade. Well, the floor supervisor walked away while I was showing him how to do something on the wrist rocket. And I'm like, if he walked away and you already showed him how to troubleshoot the wrist rocket, I would have walked away too. I already did my job. Sort your shit. You know what I mean?
And to let folks at home know that in regards to the whole Dewey, Huey, and Louie joke, the first time I heard that was from my uncle who retired from DHL a good many years ago. He worked, I think he worked as part of the flight crew at one of the airports that helped load the plane. So that's how I knew that joke, because I used to ask him, like, you work for, like, Uncle Joe, why do you call it, a Mickey Mouse company? DHL stands for Dewey, Huey, and Louie. You're like,
but yeah, no, it's just one of them things. But I just thought it was funny because this guy, he'll block me for a while, and I guess he kind of just sits on the periphery, and then he'll come back to check my profile. And anytime he sees something weird, right up in them DMs, I'm like, dude, I'll be a friend and I'll talk with you. But he's legit looking for a wife and somebody to take care of his 2 kids. I'm good. I got my eldest is getting ready to graduate high school. I'm good. I don't need no more.
and on that quick note, it's like, what? It's like, I don't have any kids in the game. I don't have anything in the game. Why am I so excited over back to school shit? It's like, why? Why am I so happy to see back to school shit?
Because it's summertime. You probably got to deal with a lot of kids.
I barely have to deal with any kids. I think it's mostly because being a geek myself, there's a plethora of new shit to store stuff with, like binders and storage options, and
Target has a huge array of trapper keepers at the moment.
Like for my diabetic, like prick needles, I use pencil cases, 50 cents at Walmart. So that sort of thing. I'm like, oh, I can get new binders for. To me, when I see the back to school stuff, I was like, ooh, new stuff I can use for D&D. Shit.
That's the gateway drug. Back to school supplies.
It's like back to school stuff. Like I said earlier, I was there picking up, refill for a prescription. Why am I walked right by the back to school stuff. Like, what? You could write on and erase on these holders, these dividers, reuse them, and you can use pen and erase it all. I gotta get this for D&D shit. Son of a bitch. Why am I always excited? But it's like, I don't have any kids. I'm excited for back to school stuff.
Hey, reasons for that. Oh, and for anybody who knows why I've been making strange faces, I've been trying to figure out how to transform this guy forever. So I think it's definitely not Kickback. It's definitely not Bombshell. Is it Barrage?
Not sure. It's been a while since I had.
Because there was 3.
There was. I had Kickback. Bombshell. I had Kickback as a kid. I think Kickback was the grasshopper.
No, Shrapnel. Shrapnel was the one with the big hose nose, the little beetle with the thing. And this guy must be Bombshell.
I had Kickback, the grasshopper.
Grasshopper. Yeah. There was other like Insecticons they added later on, but they weren't as cool as the first 3.
It was always the first 3 in regards to the Insecticon. There were always those 3, and it was always like always those 3. It wasn't like, it's like Scourge and what was the other one?
Oh, you're talking about the sweeps, Cyclonus.
Sweeps and Scourge. It was like they were always like on monitor of sweeps and scourges. Yet you had Scourge and sweeps were like the two side by side right next to Galvatron.
Yeah,
But then Decepticons was
they're your troop builders. Same way with the Seekers. All the same from the jet mold. Your Star Screams, your Thundercracker. I always forget the other one.
No, I'm just saying, it was always in the cartoon, it was always the same three.
But how often did you see
Insecticons.
different colors of Seekers? You had a bright neon one, you had green ones, you had all of them. And not all of them got names. They were just repaints of
I know with the
Seekers.
I know with the toy line, it was just repaints and all that. Same thing with like He-Man and He-Man. It was just a lot of the figures were just repaints and redos of the other figures.
Well, with He-Man back in the day, because you could take the parts and make different He-Man just by taking it. That they made it basically like a modular. So we can take the legs from this guy, the arms from this guy, the chest, and they might do like something different for the body as like a separate sculpt. Like for example, the body of I want to say it's Skunkor and Mossman. They're the exact same figure, except one's painted green and is flocked, and Stinker is just regular plastic, and one of them has the moss smell and the other one's loaded up with the stink smell. And that's the only real difference between the two of them. And I think Stinkor actually has a merman head to it.
Something like that. We didn't care. We just ripped open. Literally, let's rip open the box and play with the figures. Now they're worth like God knows how much.
Well, it all depends. Like if they were played with and well loved, you can get them a dime a dozen. Because Al and I went to because Carlisle had one of those toy expos recently. I can't think of which one it was, but he wanted to go in and check it out. It was like $5 a head. You could get a whole weekend pass for like 10. And they had regular drawings and things of that nature. I picked up an Alicon, of course, which was kind of cool because never had that in my childhood. Which the Sharkticon turns into the alligator guy.
Yeah.
The Ba Weep, Dra Na Weep, Ninibon. But yeah, like I picked up a couple buttons for the bag. I think I picked up a Jurassic Park one, which actually was kind of like sculpted in, and then a Camp Crystal Lake sign for the strap of my purse, which was kind of cool. But yeah, no, like they had a toy show and like He-Man stuff, like the OG stuff was super cheap, especially if the little limbs were like super loose, the little legs, because you know how they would get after a while. But the rubber bands on those, they are replaceable, but dear God, are they hard to replace. I had a friend that asked me to do it for him once and got the rubber band and everything else. After I did about 5 of them, I'm like, anytime you see me at the pub, you have my tab. It's like, that's pricey. I'm like, yeah, well, it was a painful process.
I know to kind of continue, at least, even though we talked about Hasbro, one of the things I have to go through this weekend is download on my tablet. I got some preview. I won't say preview. To use their term, proofread copies of one of the backing stuff that I've backed. It's one of the things I think I've talked to you about it.
Yeah, we've done the Kickstarter stuff. So yeah.
But the one Kickstarter is one we're supposed to get it maybe a month or two, but they're still going through the process of editing. They have 2 versions of the same book. One is they're giving the original run of the book. They're giving they have 2 different play styles. One is for the current edition of Dungeons and Dragons, and one for their play style, and one for kind of an addition to that, and a couple extras. So they have to put everything together for both editions.
Yeah.
So it's each book. I thought it was going to be thicker, all 3 books, but it's not going to be that thick. But I want to see it when it gets in hand to see how thick everything is, but each one looked like it was going to be about an inch thick, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an inch thick. So that's something I'll worry about when printing happens, and I'll have it in my hand. I'll have an unboxing video for that on my YouTube channel, but that's neither here but there. But right now they have what they call proofread copies for everybody. Their thing is, these are just proofread copies. Everything's not done yet. It doesn't have all the artwork. It doesn't have the layouts are not finalized yet. We worked tirelessly on the layout, the edit, and everything else. Good chance there's stuff that we missed. So what we're going to do is we're going to hand it off to you guys to look at them, proofread them, to see what we missed, sort of thing. I like that idea, and something to kind of go through.
I feel about it. I mean, it's like, oh, here's this rough draft. Can you polish it for us? And then we'll
it's like
product.
It's just that they polished it. It's just that they want fresh eyes on it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, I can get that.
It's one thing. It's like, yeah, we looked over it, we polished it, we looked over it again, polished it again. We're on the road to go to this event to help promote our other copies and this upcoming stuff that we'll be putting out after you guys get it. But since we're currently focused on going to this major convention, we would like, for those of you out there that just would like a preview copy to look over and help us stomp out the typos that we might have missed, have at it. And they have a form out in regards to stomping out, called help stomp out the typo. And one of the comments was like, if we get that I put up, it's like, can I talk about this? When I get in hand, so like, yeah, go ahead, talk about it. And right now, my only concern is how thick everything is. But overall, I won't bitch about that because it's still a preview, a proofread copy, and I don't have the physical stuff in hand.
Right.
So I can't really gripe about that. Just like the dice I'll probably be getting by Forestate. Now, if folks at home, I know Sasha probably has her plans for it, but if I get the one Kickstarter in by the end of August, which is how it looks, I will bring it with me to Forestate. Sasha's going to probably be in the same room with me, or the same event, or something like that, some way, somehow.
We're gonna be around. Find us.
We either before, depending on how tired or drunk or anything like that, we could do it in the morning before we hit up state 2.
You gonna be up for love drafts afterwards?
What?
Love drafts afterwards?
The after party, or
yeah, it's kind of like a Lovecraft themed bar, but it's also kind of like an arcade, because at every little table they've got like a mini console. Like one table's got like the mini Nintendo, one table's got the mini Super Nintendo, one table's got mini TurboGrafx 16, one's got N64. They have barbecue, they brew beer on site. They have some really righteous food in there.
This is for the after day one after event, or what?
I'm thinking about the day one.
Day one. So I said this could be before we go back on day 2 or something like that. That way everything's said and done. Less we could do it in house, whatever. If we're sober enough.
Oh, we should be fine.
So either way, we'll do it. We'll open it up.
Unless you see me with the big giant gallon-sized homemade ecto cooler that may or may not be laced with hypnotic. Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
But I mean, like the next day or something like that, we'll open it up. We'll do something on the camera and set it up.
If we do love drafts, we won't do anything too extreme, because there's like a pretty decent bar like back behind Al's apartment, where if we want something more, we'll just wander over there, which is the G-Man as we call it. But gingerbread man for not everybody who's a local. But yeah, anything more we could go over there, or we can just homebrew whatever we have back at the apartment.
Now, just before forewarn, I'm warning Sasha in regards to this, and I'm warning you guys at home and those on my YouTube channel. When I do that unboxing, I'll be filling Sasha in a lot of the drama, and you guys at home on a lot of the drama that will be surrounding that Kickstarter and what everything is going, the history behind the Kickstarter, the issues a lot of people have been having. I'm not going to go on through them here. I want to save it for that unboxing because it's not just an unboxing, it's going to be a whole drama-filled thing.
Oh, we know how we love drama.
Oh, yeah. And it's just, let me put it like this. It's specialized dice that was supposed to be something centered. It's supposed to be patented centering technology, and a lot of stuff that I'm saying is a lot off-centered. And yeah, let me put it like this. One of the other things I've seen on the about this product, it's going to be advertised for $20 a pop for everything that's included. And I myself, amongst the other 2,000 backers, paid $70 American for it, for everything. And yeah, so all that's going to be, I don't want to ridicule them and call the company out until I have the box in hand and I'm opening it up, and having a neutral party like Sasha nearby is a perfect way to say, oh, I think a lot of this is, if I think this is a piece of shit, Sasha, please, and not handing it off to wherever side Sasha's give it. I think this is a piece of shit, and I think they have to somehow rectify this. Sasha, what are you saying? That way, Sasha could be the cooler head in this situation. And stuff. Besides, it's a great content for all of you at home.
Me, the cooler head. Yeah, because that works out so well. May cooler heads prevail. Oh God, she's got.
Oh yeah, like Sasha's the cooler head. Just people's heads exploding.
Oh, so anything else you want to cover, or are we?
Oh, that's a bit. That's everything. In my notes, that's what you want to cover. I think all in all, we both wanted to cover the ghost thing. Not so much the ghost thing. The EVPs were mostly me.
Electronic voice phenomenon.
And mainly for me, it was going to be the EVP stuff and the Martinsburg Public Library Con. The
government announces we've heard stuff on audio recording. Water is wet.
But water is wet.
There's stuff in the sky we can't identify.
The alien stuff was kind of like both of us because it was in the news. I wanted to add, we kind of covered it with regards to Otacon's numbers, is because Otacon just happened this past weekend.
And 4-State.
And 4-State. We covered 4-State a little bit. We'll be there. Stay tuned.
Us. I know I'll have some pins and stickers available if you guys are interested in such free swag. I will warn you, the pins are kind of odd. They do have a tendency to fall apart, but you know, hey, free pin.
And I'll have the dice with me, baggies of dice. So to satisfy your roll top playing needs. And
so if you want to see us soliciting our wares, and many of you do.
And folks at home, yes, that are listening to the audio version of this, I have been drinking out of my W mug as per glass.
Coffee. Ugh.
No, actually, it's not. I can't say. But all I'm saying is I am at least using their mug. I'm saving the rest of the powdered stuff for 4-State. That way, I'm highly energized throughout the whole weekend. Whether or not I'll be falling unconscious is another story. But
that will make it. We're survivors.
No, I'll be that coffeed, caffeined, and energized through W Energy. Go to dubby.gg. Use code LCM Podcast at checkout. for 10% off.
Yeah, what he
So-
said. Do that and join OnlyFans. Like
Or
comment,
join my Patreon.
subscribe, and
Like-
obey.
Hey.
But anyways, as I like to say, that's the show. So Unpleasant Screams takes care and keep it real.
And oh my God, I think we probably hit 1.5 hours or 2 hours.
Tonight,
All new record.
we're
compared to the-
back.
Compared to like the 3 or 4 hours of like 2 weeks ago.
And he's a gamer and he's in a bikini.
Yeah, I'm a gamer in a bikini. Want to see? No, you haven't. Yeah, tip jar.
Tip jar. Exactly.
Tip jar.
Gotta pay.
If you want to see what's underneath this shirt,
You
you
gotta
have to
pay.
use the tip. You have to pay, and
You
not
have
on
to pay.
OnlyFans.
All right. Well, I'll kill it here and we'll just hit that.